This is the political brown kid, and it's time to get serious. I want y'all to listen to this clip from Malcolm X talking about white liberals. And it's the same thing I've been telling y'all. I've been telling y'all to watch out for white liberals. They're nothing but racist. They don't have your agenda at heart. They really don't. So, without further ado, here is Malcolm X.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to that clip. Now, let's get into some good old racism from Bill Maher and this other white clown who's sitting on this show. I don't know his name, but these two in this conversation, I want you to pay attention to it because it epitomizes liberal racism. Watch it.
The administration said, speaking of money, they want to study reparations. Study it. Compensate descendants of slaves for unpaid labor by their ancestors. Jen Psaki, the press spokesman, said, we'll see what happens in the legislative process. I'm curious where you are on this issue. I mean, there's a collective guilt that's asking individuals to recompense. I think that's how we would frame that.
So I want y'all to listen to Bill Maher's tone and listen to the words that he just said. He said, so there's a collective guilt that wants individuals to pay for a collective issue. What he's basically saying is, and he's going to reiterate that in a minute, he's going to explicitly state what he's saying or how he's feeling. He's like, that's not my problem. Yeah, racism was a collective thing that happened 400 years ago, but me as an individual, I didn't have anything to do with it. So why should I have to pay as an individual to the collective for something that I didn't do? That's what he's saying.
Listen, I think reparations have to happen for black people. You know what I mean? Because slavery was America's original sin. And I really don't think no good is going to come to this country until they atone for their original sin, which was slavery. I mean, my ancestors literally built this country for free. So when you see all of this money being thrown around, you know, $27 trillion in national debt, $1.7 trillion for failed F-35 fighter
$500,000 for dogs.
$500,000 for fucking dogs. It's like if you're black in this country, you have to be like, well, what the hell? What's up with us? You know what I mean? So for me personally,
but again,
I don't even see what the issue is.
The issue is that that's the collective guilt. But individual white people are saying, I didn't do it, and my ancestors didn't even do it, and you are not your ancestors.
So here we go. And listen, Charlemagne the God, for whatever you want to say about Charlemagne, he actually articulated and basically made the argument that the same argument that I would have made. Actually, he made better ones because he pointed out specifically, I didn't know that there was failed fighter jets. But if you think about it, the military gets $800 billion per year. $8 billion a year is automatically set aside for the military to do nothing. And their descendants, just because, if you think about this, I just did a video on, well, it's not going to come out. I recorded a bunch of videos and it's probably going to come out next week. I did a video about Governor Youngkin in Virginia canceling or defunding a military program. And all of these white women are up in arms because these white women did not serve in the military. Their husbands served. But apparently the military has a stipulation. There's something in our legislation that states that the military's descendants can go to school for free. The military covers wives and children to go to school and get free educations because of some military veteran. Now, how is that fair? So why am I, as an individual, having to pay for the collective so that these women can get, this is reparations. This is the same argument as reparations, but yet here Bill Maher is basically saying, yet once again, you're not your ancestors. So basically, he's trying to say we're not entitled to the money because even though America failed to pay, refused, not failed, they just flat out refused to even give black people reparations. Then they promised them 40 acres and a mule, didn't give them that. So, but once again, this is what I mean when I talk about white liberals. Bill Maher can be all for COVID stimulation. He can be all for PPP loans to help save some poor white woman's business because now if black people wind up getting money from PPP, it's fine because white people are also getting money. So long as his white people are getting money, he's okay with it. But as soon as you start talking about correcting a wrong, now he has issue with it. Let's continue.
I'm a descendant of those ancestors.
I know, but okay.
Hey, listen, when a debt is old, a debt is old. Period.
But you've got a lot of money, so you say you should get more.
Here's the white liberalism back at it. So now he's trying to guilt Charlemagne into taking reparations money. So he's basically saying, you already have enough money, so why do you need more money? I don't make this up. So you mean to tell me, so what if I owed Bill Maher? What if I went to Bill Maher's house or Bill Maher did a comedy show and I refused to pay him? And so I can say to you, well, you do a comedy and you have a television show, you're a TV star and you do stand-up comedy. You make millions of dollars a year. Why do you deserve more? Your concert, you should do free concerts. This is your free one. I'm not going to pay you. Why does it matter how much money Charlemagne has? If his ancestors are owed, they are owed. Would white people fail to realize, because I'll tell y'all right now, I have to hear it from my parents all the time, and I've heard it from my grandparents before they passed away, how white people went into black neighborhoods and burnt down black churches and stole the land. They ran black people, they lynched black people, ran them off of their property, the property that they bought right out of slavery that they saved up to buy the sharecrop. And then they told the black people, y'all need to get out of here before sundown, and took the property. The black people, when you fear for your life, you say, do I want to hold on to my property or do I want to keep my neck from stretching? And the black people said, I'm going to keep my neck from stretching. They packed up the cars and they drove off and they left. And they left the house, they left the cattle, they left the cows, the chickens, whatever they had, and they left it all there. And the white people took it. The white people burnt down the churches and then claimed the property. We don't make that, and this is even post-racism. Post-slavery. And you got people like Bill Maher and them that can't even empathize with you. He can spout off other statistics about Jews in Israel, and he can talk about everything about Palestine. He can talk everything about Ukraine, and he knows nothing about you as black people. And you black people will listen to this fool, and some of you black women will even sleep with this fool because that's what he does. He sleeps with black women. Ask Kareem Steffens. But I digress. Let's continue.
Should I get more?
Well, no. You should get a check.
Yes, I'm 97% West African, born in Charleston, South Carolina, so I should definitely get a check. But if it's to the point where, you know what, you make too much money, we don't think you deserve it, cool, give it to somebody who needs it. But to act like black people in this country don't deserve reparations is absolutely nuts to me. Hey, this is what I want. Put it like this. America, just treat black people like they're F-35 fighter jets. You had $1.7 trillion to throw at that bullshit. Throw it at the people who actually built this country. But I don't see how anybody can dispute that.
But again,
I'm pausing it here because of this. Charlemagne actually makes a very good point again, and I didn't even pick up on this, but I'm picking up on this point right now. I'm gonna piggyback off, and I'm gonna throw Charlemagne an alley-oop on this, or he threw me an alley-oop, and I'm gonna slam dunk this one. That's the total truth. You think about it, because I didn't even know about the $1.7 trillion on a failed F-146. But I don't even know what fighter jet he's talking about. But you think about this. We have paid the American public through paying taxes. The American public has lost $1.7 trillion I've never seen on Bill Maher's show where he was upset and livid that he as an individual had to collectively pay for a fighter jet that did not go into operations or that failed. I don't hear any other white person crying or complaining that they lost a $1.7 trillion on a fighter jet. Where is the outrage from white people storming the Capitol or storming the Pentagon in this case to say, what did y'all do with the money? Why did y'all mess my money up? No one's crying and complaining about that, but you got white people crying and complaining to make black people to put money in black people's pockets that's owed to black people. That's really we're descendants of the people who were owed. But yet he has a problem with that. I told y'all, white, liberal, racist. Let's keep it moving.
You didn't build this country.
So what?
You personally did.
So what? I'm a descendant.
But I'm saying we can't write a check to a ghost. You know
Why not?
why not? Because
Especially when the ghost's descendants are still
that's a descendant.
here. Listen, let me ask you a question. How do you right the wrong of slavery then?
Again, look at the pushback from Bill Maher. Look at the pushback. He's like, we can't write a check to a ghost. No, but Charlemagne's sitting right there. And Charlemagne has already told him, listen, I'm a descendant from West African slaves that were located down in South Carolina. He just pointed that out, and then Bill Maher's like, well, we can't write a check to a ghost. If their ancestor was still alive, we pay them, but we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you. And once again, too, the thing that gets me with Bill Maher, once again, he's like, I'll reiterate, you didn't build this country, but our ancestors built it. So he's just trying to deflect to say just because we didn't directly build this country, but our ancestors did, that we don't deserve anything. That we do not deserve anything. Yet America failed to pay. If anybody that Bill Maher and them should be mad at, it should be their forefathers, not my forefathers, their forefathers. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all of those racists. They should be mad at those individuals for not paying the debt when the debt was owed. And that's just the honest truth.
Well, I mean, I think reparations can come in many forms.
Why not? Cash is king. It's America.
No, I agree. I mean, I think reparations do come in many forms. So we should be spending much, much more on the schools that serve black children. We should be spending much, much more on the infrastructure in black and predominantly black communities. We should be doing all sorts of things to close the opportunity gap, which is enormous and which we've done a terrible job closing. A debt is owed, and that's one of the ways you repay it.
So I want y'all to listen to this idiot named Frank Bruni. That's what passed up on the screen, right? Frank Bruni, I do believe. Listen to the stupidity of white people. White people are extremely stupid. They are extremely, and I'm going to say this, I don't think that they're stupid. I think that they're evil. You can either, in this world, you're either stupid or evil. And that's just the honest to God truth. So I'm going to give you an example. If you are a wife and you know, and you're, well, I'm not going to say you know, but if you're a wife and let's just say your husband is touching the children in an inappropriate manner, you know what I'm talking about. You either don't know, and I'm not trying to say stupid in a bad way, but when you lack knowledge, that is a form of stupidity. It is just, or a form of ignorance, should we say. It's just, and it's not a bad word, it's just you are ignorant to what's going on in your surroundings. And that could definitely be true. Let's just say the wife either doesn't know, or let's say she does know, but she's conflicted. She's like, I love my man, and I know what's going on, but I'm going to play dumb and act like I don't see it. That's a form of evilness to allow a child to go through that. And white people pull this bull crap all the time. Oh, I didn't know that was going on. You're either ignorant to the circumstances of black and the plight of black people, or you just don't care. So what I mean by that is this. For this idiot, Frank Bruni, whatever his name is, to say reparations can come in many forms. They tried reparations with affirmative action. But let me ask you this question, people, because that's what they gave to us. They said, instead of giving you reparations, we'll give you affirmative action. When a joker can give you an affirmative action and say, okay, well, we have some people that we need to hire. We need to hire 10 black people. And because we have to keep up with affirmative action, or we need to keep up with policy. And then you can also fire those people. You don't own a job. You don't own a job. And then once again, I will direct y'all to listen to Dame Dash. When he talks about entrepreneurship, he knows what he's talking about. And I'm not trying to say he's a great entrepreneur. I'm not trying to say he's a poor entrepreneur. But what I'm trying to say is when you listen to Dame Dash talk about entrepreneurship and ownership, he knows what he's talking about. When you give people affirmative action, they don't own anything. There's no ownership. They still have to come to the white man to get stuff. And this is what these white people want you to do. They still want you to be subservient to them. They don't want you to leapfrog and surpass them. White people are perfectly fine with black people so long as black people aren't a threat to them economically. Prime example is this. When you looked at if any of you all are familiar with the Clintons, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they were perfectly fine with the Obamas. They loved the Obamas. But then when they thought it was Hillary's turn to become president and Obama stepped his foot into the pool and became a threat to her, what did Bill Clinton say? He said something to the effect of, back in my day or whatever, you'd be serving us food. That's what he said. Or he said you wouldn't be allowed. He took a shot at him to basically say, you just a Negro. How are you doing this? Because they felt as though it was Hillary's time. And Barack Obama ran circles around Hillary Clinton. Took what was supposed to be hers, and I know they called him a Negro behind the scenes, and that's when the relationship between the Clintons and the Obamas was fractured. There was many reports on that. They smile in public because they need each other politically, but the relationship became fractured. I don't make this stuff up. You think I'm lying? Google it. Look it up. Stop just listening to Sexy Red and Sukihana all your life and look that up. That's what happened. As soon as you become a threat to white people, they're mad. And here it is, this idiot Frank Bruni is going to sit up here and tell you that they're giving you reparations by investing more in your schools. Let me ask you this, black people. What is you having a degree in, let's just say engineering? I don't care. You could be the best engineer on planet Earth. You still got to go to Google for a job. You're still going to have to go to Microsoft or Meta or Amazon or some company for a job. But if they give it, and you heard Charlemagne say it, what is more liquid? What operates in capitalism more? What form of monetary payment is better than cash? I love giving cash as gifts during like gift giving times because you are ensured that the person can take that money and buy whatever it is they want. If somebody hands me a scarf for Christmas or for New Year's or for my birthday, I'm mad. This scarf does nothing for me. And then the person could say, well, I gave you reparations. Ain't that a nice scarf? No, it's not. I don't use scarves. I live in Florida. I don't live in Florida, but let's just say you just don't wear scarves. What good is an education building up your schools in your neighborhood if you don't own the buildings? What is he talking about building up the infrastructure? Yeah, that's because he wants to, listen, everything he's named, schools in black neighborhoods and the infrastructure in black neighborhoods benefits white people. It benefits all people. They're not doing you a favor. If they built up the infrastructure in black neighborhoods, you know who benefits? The Asians and Latinos. They do. You know why I say that? Because the Latinos own the landscaping companies and the construction general contracting companies that come into your neighborhood. You don't see any blacks doing it. Who owns all of the restaurants in your neighborhood? I'm telling you, there's Pollo a la Brasa spots in every black neighborhood now. You either see Pollo a la Brasa spots or there's a carryout owned by the Asians. So the Asians and the Hispanics benefit because they own the businesses there. In the schools, you don't own a school building. The municipalities own the school building. And let me explain something to y'all too, people. Gentrification happens. It's going through it in DC, it's going through it in Harlem, it's going through it in Oakland. So that brand new school that they're going to build in these neighborhoods could eventually be white schools. Everything that they've named, it benefits both black people, white people, Asian people. It's nothing specific for blacks. But yet they don't want blacks to have anything. I can't make this up.
The problem I have with the reparations conversation is the questions you were asking a moment ago. It's practically a non-starter. I mean, in terms of practicality, no one's going to agree on the terms. No one's going to agree exactly on the eligibility criteria. Nobody's going to agree on the amount, and it's politically very unpopular. And while we're talking about something that I don't think is passable, and that's why Obama didn't talk about it well.
Why is it not passable, though?
What?
Why is it not passable?
Look at public opinion polls. It's just not going to get done. And that's not about the merits. That's about the appeal out there. And in the meantime, there's so much we can and should be doing that could be called reparations about the debt we owe.
Well, let's change the name. Call it economic equity packages. Whatever it is, as you said, a debt is
You could say Obamacare, which helped black and brown people way more than white people. Obviously, all people can sign up for Obamacare, but that is the practical effect of it, is a form of reparations.
Do y'all hear these idiots? Are y'all as mad as I am? Y'all should be mad. Y'all should be literally kicking over y'all's computer screens right now. I'm not telling you to kick your computer screens because I'm not going to pay for you to get a new laptop. But this is the conversation of white people. This white guy explicitly states it's not popular. He's basically saying it's not popular with me. That's what he's saying. He's in that camp. He's probably also referring to the popularity, but we're not talking about popularity. I didn't hear any of them talk about the popularity of the Department of Defense getting $800 billion a year. I didn't hear them talk about the popularity of F-1 fighter jets that failed. He's not mentioning anything else. Who cares? We're not talking about what's popular. There's been wars that have been unpopular. What was the war in Afghanistan or Iraq? The one George Bush went and fought over the Yellow Cake. That war was unpopular. They did it anyway because it said it needed to be done. And they did it. Even though United Nations told them no, even though the Department of State's representative from the Middle East said there's nothing to see here, move along. And yet Dick Cheney and George W. Bush did it anyway. So what's preventing them from saying this needs to be done, let's do it? And that's the problem that kills me with these white people. He's basically saying it's unpopular. And the thing that really gets my blood boiling is now, here it is, the old racist Bill Maher. He's a liberal racist going to sit up here and say, well, what about Obamacare? Oh, you know, that benefited black and brown people way more than it benefited us, even though everybody can sign up for Obamacare. Obamacare was for everyone, and Bill Maher even admits it. This is ridiculousness. Let's continue.
All right. So,
I want to know, do you think that black people should get reparations?
I think it should be more like what Frank and I are saying. Different, not a check. No, I think it should be done more by class. I mean, 21% of blacks are below the poverty line. So that means we're giving checks to 80% of people who are not in poverty.
So once again, and I'm glad Charlemagne explicitly asked him, do you think they should get checks? And what was this racist's answer? No, they should not get checks. And you know why he says that black people should not get checks? Because blacks don't live below the poverty line. He's basically saying that only 21% of blacks live below the poverty line. And so therefore, the United States would be cutting checks for 80% of the blacks that aren't below the poverty line. Well, let me ask y'all something, blacks, because I honestly believe that the few people, I only have 300 people subscribed to this channel, and my views on my videos get even less than that. So this view on this video will probably only get maybe 10, 15 views. Trust me, because anytime I do anything outside of dating, it doesn't get a view. But let me ask you this, black people, because the black people that do watch my channel, they are smart. If I give you, who would you rather the government give money to? I'm just going to ask a hypothetical question. Who would you rather the government give money to? Would you rather the government give money to your crackhead aunt, your crackhead auntie, or your crackhead uncle who's just going to smoke up the $200,000 check? Or would you rather him give it to your daughter, your niece or your nephew that you know that they the smart ones in the family. They the ones that own businesses. They the ones that, one of them has an accounting firm. The other one has a social media consulting firm or advertising firm. And these kids will employ other black people, and they will ensure that, black businesses grow and grow the proper way. They're good with money, financial management. They're good with strategic planning. They're good with, growing businesses, and they are dedicated to uplifting black people. Which one of those groups are you planning on cutting a check to? So Bill Maher only wants to cut checks to poor black people who are just going to go out and spend that money on a Cadillac and buy a bunch of clothes and be broke, and give the money, basically circulate the money back to the white communities. Just make a Cadillac, give the money back to the Cadillac dealer, give the money to Gucci, give the money to, and support all these white-owned businesses, because that's what Bill Maher wants. He doesn't want to see it go to middle-class blacks that make smart, sound business decisions, because this is the racism that comes from liberals.
Shouldn't it better be done? That if we're going to pass out money, that's what I was starting the show with. If we're going to pass out money, let's pass it out
with the poor and disenfranchised.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and is a one-time check going to change a life as much as a real investment in education? As much as a real investment in young people's social programs?
I think
I think a debt is owed, and I have no problem paying it in cash. I'm just talking about where the money goes to help the most number of people the quickest.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're allowing this dude, Frank Bruni, to talk. I mean, the more he and Bill Maher talks, the more I just want to get out, go buy a whip and tie both of them up to a tree and give them 10 million lashes. They don't, forget 40 lashes. They deserve 10 million lashes. Honestly. And I'm not, once again, do not go out and do harm to any people, white people, regardless of their position or regardless of the positions that they take. And leave this loser Bill Maher alone and this loser Frank Bruni alone. But once again, they're like, what's going to be the bigger difference, to give black people checks or just build them a school and let them attend the school? What do you think going to help you out? If somebody gave you a check for $100,000, what would you rather do with the check? Would you rather invest it in an education for a degree in social justice or social work, and come out? And once again, you got to pay the school $100,000. They're going to let you go to school for free, and then you're going to walk out and possibly get a job, possibly not, possibly have to deal with a white boss that's going to ride your tail because you're black, not give you promotions because you're black, and you're going to still be in the same situation that you're in now? Or would you rather somebody give you a check for $100,000, $200,000 that you can put into an investment, whether it's a dividend stock, whether it's a real estate investment trust, whether it is a mutual fund, index fund, exchange traded fund, where you can control how that money is invested? Maybe you decide to partner up with a few other people and y'all build your own company, whether it's a tech company, consultant company, or whatever. But cash is always diverse. Cash allows you the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. When they build you a school, you're locked into getting an education. There's only one way to benefit from reparations, and that's to go to school. Well, what if you're past school age? What if you're Charlemagne's age? What if you're my age? I'm 45. I am 45 years of age. How is going to school going to be a reparation for me? I'm at the end of my career. I'm actually trying to find my second. I'm not planning on going to school anymore. I'm going to take the skills that I have, and hopefully I'll go consult and do something on the side. Or I'm just going to be retired. But school does not benefit me at this point. So here it is. I'm going to wrap this video now. I definitely want y'all to pass this video on. Pass this. If there's not any other of my videos that you pass on, it's this one, to show you that these white people are not your friends. And Malcolm X told y'all that back in the 60s. But you didn't follow Malcolm. You chose to follow Martin Luther King. The white man's puppet. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. It is the truth. And I'm not trying to say he was purposely the white man's puppet, but he played into the white man's strategy of just be civilized and peaceful and cooperative and all of this other stuff. Don't ask for too much. Don't fight for nothing. Don't be a disturbance to us. And got nothing done. In the end, when Martin Luther King died, the thing that moved things along was when they burnt down downtown D.C., when they burnt down downtown Philadelphia, they burnt down, I think, Oakland, That's when the riots, Martin Luther King, for a person that was nonviolent, his movement changed things when things got violent after he died. And you could see the same thing happen with George Floyd. When black people got smart and stopped tearing up their neighborhood and started tearing up white people's neighborhood, that's when white people said, we'll talk to you now. Well, what is it that you want? We'll even give you Juneteenth. How about that? I don't make this stuff up. Stop following the wrong people. Malcolm X tried to tell you all. I'm trying to tell y'all to follow me too, because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. But I need y'all to pass this video on. Also hit the like and subscribe button. This is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out of here.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling.